The Elbe River sailed by handicapping Peter Petrus Tetras Tadras and crewmen Giovanni Dahl and Charles Hatham. The Elbe River is a great river that runs mainly through Germany and the Czech Republic. Its source is the Kronos mountain range in Poland. The mouth is the North Sea, and it generally flows northeast. The Elbe contains many tributaries, for example, the Vltava, the Jezera, and the Havel. The Elbe has many regions and states it flows through. This includes the free states of Hamburg, Saxony, and Brandenburg, as well as the administrative units of the Czech Republic, for example, Pardubice and Hadrek Králové. There are many cities that the Elbe River flows through. Some of these great cities include Hamburg, Meissen, Dessau, and Dresden. When it comes to agriculture, it doesn't seem to be the Elbe River's strong suit, especially now that any agriculture on or near the Elbe was destroyed because of its floods, the most recent one being on Tuesday, June 11th. One religion commonly found in accordance with the Elbe River is Protestantism. Cathedrals near the Elbe can be located in the towns it flows through. For example, the Protestant Cathedral of Magdeburg is the oldest Gothic cathedral in Germany. It is the proto-cathedral of the former Prince Archbishopric of Magdeburg. Today it's the principal church of the Evangelical Church of Central Germany. Castles can also be found near the Elbe in cities and towns. There are a trio of castles in the Elbe Valley of Dresden. These castles are the Albrechtsberg Castle, the Linger Castle, also known as Villa Stackhausen, and the Eckberg Castle, which are located adjacent to one another. The Albrechtsberg Castle, built in the mid-19th century by Prince Albert of Prussia. It has a Roman and Greek classical design, since it was inspired by such buildings. The castle was declared a National Historic Landmark in 1977. The adjacent Linger Castle was built between 1850 and 1853 for Baron von Stackhausen, Chamberlain of Prince Albrecht of Prussia. The prince himself stayed here until his own castle was finished in 1854. The Eckberg Castle was constructed between 1850 and 1861. It was designed by Christian Friedrich Arnold, a student of Gottfried Semper. The castle is now operated as a luxury hotel. Business is common along the Elbe River. The German city of Hamburg is the second largest city in Germany and the ninth largest city in the European Union. Hamburg is both a major transportation hub and has been an important financial center for centuries. It even holds the world's second oldest bank, the Beethoven Bank. Meissen is home to the famous Meissen porcelain or Meissen china. It is the first European hard paste porcelain, developed in 1708. The production of porcelain at Meissen, near Dresden, started in 1710 and attracted artists and artisans to establish one of the most famous porcelain manufacturers still in business today as Staatlich Porzellan Manufaktur Meissen GmbH, of which Mr. Matthews owns one piece of in his beautiful home. The German city of Dresden is home to many factories, several of which were bombed during World War II on February 13th to 15th, 1945. One tourist spot located in Dresden is the Transparent Factory. Business is run as usual way back when and now. There are banks, general merchandise, livestock, etc. Dessau is famous for its College of Architecture, Bauhaus. The college was moved here in 1925 after it had been forced to close in Weimar. They've created several buildings like the Bauhaus Dessau Museum and the Grain House, constructed in 1930 as a restaurant. The Grain House is still in operation today. Dessau is home to castles such as the Rondell, the Georgian Palace and Park, the Kuno Palace and Park, as well as theaters and museums like the Anhalt Theater and the Hugo Junkers Technical Museum. The Elbe River has made many contributions to the battles and wars that took place. Since it is a major river in Germany, it was a major part of World War II. One major battle was the Battle of the Halb, April 24th to May 1st, 1945. The battle was fought between the Nazis and the Red Army on the Eastern Front and took place during the Battle for Berlin. The Red Army won the battle, and they advanced on. The Elbe River was a factor because the American allies in the Elbe were not going to move east towards Berlin, which is what Hitler anticipated, and moved his Nazis toward the Eastern Front, towards the Russians. Elbe Day is April 25, 1945. It's the day that the Soviet and American troops met at the Elbe River near Torgau in Germany, which marked an important step toward the end of World War II. This meeting made a difference because it cut Germany into two. This would be the beginning of the end of Nazi Germany. Even though it is not a national holiday in any countries, Elbe Day gained significance later in history, especially in the Cold War. Philosophy along the Elbe River is not all that common, but it exists nonetheless. Philosophers such as Immanuel Kant, Friedrich Nietzsche, and Moses Mendelssohn are notable. You are looking at Immanuel Kant, an 18th century German philosopher, April 22, 1724 to February 12, 1804, who is widely considered to be a central figure of modern philosophy. He argued that human concepts and categories structure our view of the world and its laws, and that reason is the source of morality. Friedrich Wilhelm Nietzsche was a 19th century German philosopher, born October 5, 1844, died August 25, 1900. A philologist, cultural critic, poet, and composer. Central to his philosophy is the idea of life affirmation. He basically believed in life being unrestricted. There shouldn't be anything fixed, so creativity can flow freely. Life affirmation embraces change and recognizes in the will to power that change is the only constant in the world. Moses Mendelssohn was an 18th century German Jewish philosopher, born September 6, 1729, died January 4, 1786, whose ideas are accountable for the Haskalah, the Jewish Enlightenment. Although himself a practicing Orthodox Jew, he has been referred to now as the father of Reform Judaism. Art movements along the Elbe River can be found fairly easily. The baptismal font made of rose porphyry from a site near the Aswan, Egypt. Originally designed as a fountain with a hole in the center, the item may be thousands of years old and is still used for baptisms today. The sculpture of Saint Maurice, created around 1250, is the first realistic depiction of an ethnic African in Central European art, showing clearly ethnic features, for example a broad nose. The figure is no longer complete. The royal couple, also around 1250, bear very realistic and lifelike expressions. The identity of the couple is unknown, but they may represent Otto I and his wife Edith. Fun facts about the Elbe River. During the 1970s, the Soviet Union stated that Adolf Hitler's ashes had been scattered in the Elbe following disinterment from their original burial site. The Czech name for the Elbe is the Labe. The Romans called the river Albis, and it is probable that the German name for the river is derived from this. Prague is on the Vltava, which is one of the main tributaries of the Elbe. The first large town on the Elbe is called Hradec Králové in Czech. Just outside the town, the Prussians inflicted a devastating defeat on the Austrians in 1866, which resulted in the expulsion of Austria from Germany. In German, the city and battle are called Königreichs, but in English, the battle is known as Sadalva. The air raid by the Allies on Dresden, Germany, is still controversial because it was exceptionally severe. It seemed the main target was the civilian population. At least 25,000 people were killed. It is widely argued that the city contained no military objectives and that no attempt was made to hit the few there were. The city on the Elbe that is most often called the birthplace of the Reformation is Wittenberg. It is closely associated with Martin Luther and also with Hamlet. Further downstream in the Elbe lies Hamburg, which has been Germany's leading port since the 17th century. It is also a leading European port in general. Auf Wiedersehen, mein Kinder. The preceding presentation was narrated by the Honorable His Royal Highness Dr. Mr. Michaelitus Miamichus Jakobus Matthewus, Kennedy van Habsburg, Wittenberg, Quigliacious, Matthewsian van Sparling, van Matthewus, Jones, Smith, Anderson, Jones. Thank you.